I mean, I think that's just the evolution of things, right? You try to do things peacefully, and you start that. 2016, we're taking peaceful protests, we're kneeling, and we're hitting up these grassroots organizations. We're trying to do our thing, and then as it keeps going on, I think it just naturally will end up violent, or people are going to be fed up, and right now it's a lot going on, a lot of looting and everything like that. But people are hitting the streets to show their support for George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and I'm proud that they're showing their support. I'm proud that they're hitting the streets. I just think people are fed up, which is why the violence has started. And I would never want to see anybody get hurt, but I see why. If you can understand the timeline, if you can understand the course of events that continues to happen, it's just only natural that it happens.
Is it crazy looking back on it, and that probably cost Colin his career, that nothing's been accomplished since those
Right.
peaceful protests?
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunately, it did cost him his career, and he'll be a legend for it. Unfortunately, even though I know he wants to play, but he'll still be a legend for it. But you're right. It seemed like as we were, even though we were, we felt like we were making headway in how we were going about things, and we felt like we were doing the right thing. It didn't, I guess, catch enough attention. It didn't, change many laws. When I was kneeling and when I tried to stand up, Denver changed their use of force policy, so I thought that was a win, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. That's one small step, for the bigger picture. But now it just continues to happen all over the country. One thing I thought was dope, man, is Cap is paying for all the protesters, or any protester that needs legal assistance. He's paying for the legal fees. And by all means, I'm not saying like that's an excuse to go out and go crazy. But if anything does happen, it's dope that he has their back, because he did the peaceful thing, and now he's like, okay, if the people are going to go out here and I guess turn up, I got your back. So it's dope of him to do that.
Roger Goodell NFL put a statement out today, and just to keep it short, he said there remains an urgent need for action. Wasn't that what you guys were trying to accomplish, within the NFL, and nothing was accomplished?
Absolutely, man. There was an urgent need for action in 2016 and well beyond before that. To be honest with you, if we're being real, there's been an urgent action needed, but this is what happens when you kind of just drag your feet or if the issue isn't as important to you, you kind of just sweep it under the rug and say, it doesn't affect my life, so whatever, And now that we're seeing that it's these innocent people are being murdered, I'm glad finally somebody sees and finally hopefully there's change in laws and everything like that. But there's been an urgent need, and that's exactly what we were trying to convey to everyone. But a lot of times when something doesn't affect you or your family, you don't see it as a big deal.
If Brandon Marshall's on a roster,
Yeah.
are you going to kneel?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something I actually just started to think about not too long ago, to be honest with you. But I think there, are going to be other players kneeling. I'm sure of that, and I don't think, maybe the punishments won't be as harsh in 2020 as they were in 2016, as far as the perception of these players and some players, potentially not being able to have a job. There are some organizations that are okay with it, but most aren't. So, maybe they see, after they saw that gruesome video of that man neck being kneeled on, and the officer just blatantly killing that individual after him telling them that he couldn't breathe, and I remember I watched the video. He said, "Yo, just let me stand. You already have him handcuffed. Why can't he stand up? Why couldn't you just put him in the car?" You know what I'm saying? Anything could have happened. So, I think that would, the nation would be more understanding if they, turn on the game and they see Cam Newton or somebody kneeling. I think they'll be more understanding.